Hi there everybody, this is Tony, also known as TTBurger88, and welcome to part 2 of my Medal of Honor series review. Those of you who saw part 1 know that I looked at the original Medal of Honor and gave it a 9.5 out of 10 due to the blocky character models and such. Those of you who haven't seen the first part, however, feel free to check it out when you can. Today for part 2, I'm going to be looking at the second game in this series, which is just as fun as the original, but there are a couple problems worth mentioning. And that game is Medal of Honor Underground on the PlayStation and Game Boy Advance, which was developed by DreamWorks Interactive and published by Electronic Arts. The Game Boy Advance version, however, was developed by Rebellion Developments and published by Destination Software in North America and Zoo Digital Publishing in Europe. Medal of Honor was first released in North America on October 23, 2000, and then released in Europe on December 1st the same year. The Game Boy Advance version was released first in North America on December 2nd, 2002, and then in Europe on May of 2003. The story of Medal of Honor Underground takes place in 1940, 4 or 5 years before the original Medal of Honor, and puts you in the role of Manon Baptiste, a soldier who was a part of the French resistance who helped Lieutenant Jimmy Patterson in the first game. The story is, Manon's town in France has been overrun by the Nazis, and Manon and her brother Jacques, along with a few other people, try to escape before it's too late. While attempting to escape, Manon's brother is killed during a routine raid to retrieve a supply of weapons. So now Manon sets out to meet up with her brother's contracts to help fight the Nazis and prove herself to the OSS and help her nation. So the story, in my opinion, is excellent. It's very detailed and engaging that gets more and more interesting later on in the game. And the story is also told through FMV cutscenes and mission briefing scenes, just like in the first game, and they're also done really well. I give the story a perfect 10. Graphically, Medal of Honor Underground is on par with its predecessor, but there are a couple problems that I have with them. The backgrounds still look amazing to this day, along with the gun models. What's interesting is, this time you have tons of cool new weapons to choose from, and they all look great. The character models, however, are still very blocky, and still move like stick figures at times. And also the frame rate can take a dip at times as well, and such with there are tons of enemies on the screen. The FMV cutscenes still look great, like how it was in the first game, so despite all the frame rate issues and the blocky character models, the graphics still look great, and I give them a 9 out of 10. Sound-wise, Medal of Honor Underground is still fantastic, if not better. The best part about Medal of Honor Underground is the voice acting, and the voice acting consists of German and English voice actors that do a fantastic job recording their lines.
Good morning, Mademoiselle Baptiste. My name is Colonel Hargrove. I'm from the Office of Strategic Services. I heard you've been looking for us. To be honest, we've been looking for you. We just didn't know it. Now, I'm sorry to be crass, but while we've been aware of your brother Jacques for some time, we had never heard of Manon Baptiste until you made contact with our station chief yesterday morning. We knew your brother occasionally worked with another resistance member. I'm just sorry to say that I assumed it was another man. He was wise to keep your identity a secret. I've seen several good operatives denounced by people they thought they could trust. With both your anonymity and your brother gone, you could have easily opted to return to a quiet civilian life. You could have even collaborated. Turning over those papers you collected to the Gestapo would have earned you a lot of special privileges under the German authority. Instead, you committed yourself to a life on the run, away from everyone and everything you've ever known. From the looks of your G2 debriefing, you and your brother found yourselves in some pretty hairy situations during the early days of the occupation. And it's exactly that kind of experience we need to employ if our intelligence operations are to stand a chance. We're preparing to launch a major assault in North Africa very soon. Unfortunately, all the men we've sent down to do reconnaissance have had their covers blown. Now, as serendipity would have it, we've learned that a Vichy propaganda magazine has sent a female correspondent all the way to Casablanca to profile the brave men of the Africa Corps. We want you to intercept this woman and take her place. It should provide the ideal cover for getting in there and seeing what Rommel is up to. And if the opportunity presents itself, we want you to take action to disrupt his operations. If successful, your exfiltration will be by airplane, specifically in an old Northrop Alpha that's perfectly suited for this kind of special operation. The pilot is a lieutenant in the Air Transport Command who's been given strict orders not to even look at you, as we don't want to compromise your identity in any way. You'll be briefed on the rest of the specifics during your transit to the African continent. It's a privilege for the OSS that you want to join our ranks. Be careful and good luck. I'll see you when you get back.
The music is also top-notch, consisting of orchestral tunes that fit the game and atmosphere perfectly. Other sound effects such as the guns firing and more also are done really well. I give the sound in Medal of Honor Underground a perfect 10. Gameplay in Medal of Honor Underground is good, but the problem is it feels very similar to the first game. Now don't get me wrong, I enjoyed the first game. It was a lot of fun, challenging, and had lots of replay value to it. It's just the main problem is this game feels more like an expansion than an actual sequel. And also like the first game, there are no checkpoints in the levels, so you'll go back to the beginning once you die. However, that doesn't mean it's a bad game though. But getting that out of the way, let's talk more about the gameplay. Once again, you have 7 missions in this game containing 3 or 4 levels. Most of the missions take place in France, but other missions take place all over Europe, including Greece and Germany, along with missions that take place in Africa, including Monte Cassino and North Africa. The enemy AI is still very smart and well balanced, and will still do whatever they can to kill you. You also have a big variety of both new and old weapons to use in this game, ranging from the Big Joe crossbow, STG-44, the Mark II submachine gun, and more. The controls are very similar to the first game, and those of you who have played the first game will feel right at home with this. So all in all, even though the gameplay feels very similar to the original Medal of Honor and feels more like an expansion and such, I still find the gameplay very enjoyable. I give the gameplay an 8.5 out of 10. So in conclusion, Medal of Honor Underground may not do anything new that the first game did, but those of you who are fans of World War II first-person shooters and first-person shooters in general will definitely enjoy this game. I give Medal of Honor Underground a 9 out of 10. Stay tuned for part 3 where we will cover the final Medal of Honor game of the Patterson trilogy, and that game is Medal of Honor Frontline. This is Tony, also known as TTBurger88. Peace out, and see you in part 3.